My name is Richard Kambinda, Center Manager for Zambezi VTC. My kind of training is that when you are called upon, you act and you function and run fast. This one is not my presentation. Can you put for that one? In fact, as Aman was called upon to come on stage, that's when I was told I must come up because our boss is not in, he has some emergencies to attend to, and because of that, I'm here. Do we have it, or can we use what I have here? Okay, it was just emailed to me now. All right. If there was somebody to sing, maybe they could use that space to sing. Okay, good. My story first. When you have NQF that does not give space for TVET, and only small dots stay in the corner for TVET. When career guidance is a problem in our schools, it results into sacrifices that the Namibian child must go through. In my time of school, I completed 1992. I was doing commercial subjects with mathematics. 1993, 1995, I did mechanical training, where I did N1 to N6. What it meant to have completed grade 12 and to come and do N1 meant that I must go back to grade 10. That's what it meant. So my 2 years in secondary education was almost a waste because I had to come back to do N1 to N6. Finished with that, I joined the Marine, where I trained as a marine engineer for 5 years. After marine engineering, I came into TVET to train as a trainer for mathematics and science. So you can see that this is almost 7 years of my training. I cannot tell you how much government spent on that training. But if we had reorganized it, I don't know what's the current situation. Those kids who are in secondary school now, how do they filter in TVET? And how do they exit TVET? How much time do they have to lose? How much money has to be spent on this while we sit here and we cannot resolve the issues regarding the articulation of those kids? As TVET, we have said those that have gone through the Costex, the kayak, should be welcomed in TVET because those institutions should be our feet in terms of those that did not meet our requirement. And so we made those qualifications as our requirements. But what are we doing from the TVET centers to higher education? Yes, we heard here yesterday that a gap remained between TVET centers and universities. How do we close this gap? I think we must answer that question from this conference. Now, as I said, this is why you see we don't have this, so it gives me a privilege to choose which slide to talk about and which slides to leave. Tibet is no doubt an enabler of any economy in the region, in the continent, in the world. Because Tibet equips individuals, equips industries, and also it enhances employability of citizens that would then contribute to the economic growth. Tibet addresses the skills gap that prevails in a country because each program must be targeted to occupations with demand that have limited labor in that country. It bridges the gap between the job requirements and job capability. As a government, Namibia has invested in Tibet to make sure that Tibet is has a well-functioning system and that is best placed in the skilled workplace that Namibia needs to fill the skills gap in various economic sectors to address the agenda of transforming the economy through the value addition to primary commodity and natural resources. Namibia currently is facing high youth unemployment, ample empirical evidence that shows that Tibet is a potential solution to this unemployment. General perception of Tibet in the country, unfortunately, Tibet is seen as unattractive and have very poor impact compared to the academic tertiary programs. And that is of great concern. Yes, in my time, I had the chance to divert from Tibet because N6 and the national diploma was the ceiling in Tibet. Then I got myself into management, into administration and management. And so, 2019, I graduated MBA, but mainly my focus research point was negative perception on Tibet. And so this speaks very much to the research which I had with regards to perception that Namibia, especially the youth, have on Tibet. To promote higher economic growth, Namibia must continue to develop skilled industrial workers, increase productivity, manufacture, and render high technology value added products and services. I think Amon has spoken in terms of the established skills committees, industry skills committees, and so I'll just move on to the regulations. In terms of Tibet regulation, the mandate, and this is where we fail, especially some of us who come from private training providers. And I think as a country, we must put our foot down if we really want to see quality in Tibet. If we really want to see quality in Tibet. If you can't afford it, don't go for it. I want to believe the presentation yesterday for Higher Education Council, I think it was very clear in terms of what are the requirements for you to open an institution. what are the minimum amount you must have. What the amount you must have? You must have at least amount that can cover the first year program. You must have money that you don't just start and then leave in the middle, and trainees and students hang around without doing anything. And I want to believe this is where we have a problem. And as a country, we need to control this. When I travel this country, I see many TVET centers opening. And I appreciate that. As a country, we appreciate that. But let's prepare ourselves for that. Because TVET is not a secondary school, it's not a private school. It's one of those expensive things because of the high consumable items that has to be bought. It says here in terms of mandate. And when you see people coming to inspect your center, don't be angry with them, because they are just doing their job. What does it say here in the mandate? It says, as per provision of the VET Act of 2008 and regulation for registration of vocational education and training providers, Government Gazette 300 of December 2012, ensure all training providers operating within TVET space and within Namibia borders must meet training quality standard. Okay, this is well regulated system to ensure sustainability and the currency of TVET in Namibia, and in the expectation of industry and the labor market in general. Now, what is the criteria of this standard? Number one, institution must charge for tertiary and later close down for undetermined reasons, fleeing monies from unsuspecting trainees. This is the reason why this mandate is there. It is to ensure that you register. We always see these adverts, and the NQA telling people, please, before you register, check if that institution is registered and accredited. We usually don't do that. We just come and start complaining that I paid money to this institution, and this institution is not even there. Even the building moved out. Okay? The criteria also would be institutions which charge exorbitant fees but offer non-effective training and leaving trainees with no skills to competently enter the job market. Institutions that run by unqualified and underqualified managers and trainers. Institutions with little or no understanding of the concept of quality in training. Institutions which lack the required human and infrastructure resources. I saw one center, something TVET, but underneath it's a kindergarten. Maybe you might have seen it, but it is there. It's written Windhoek Vocational Training Centre. But when you go inside, it's actually a kindergarten inside. You might have seen it somewhere, but I've seen this. And this should not be allowed. And as a country, these are the things that we must regulate. Okay? In terms of regulatory frameworks, strategic initiative, NTA strategic plan, we have, it's the running plan of 5 years. TVET transformation and expansion strategy, it's a 15-year plan. These are approved documents. If you want to access them, they are available. I think this one for 15 years is expiring 2032. When you hear of government opening a VTC in Kunene, in Kurepuru, Tabamba West, in Handa, you must know that this is part of the expansion plan. These are approved documents, they are available. Also, it includes expansion of existing centers. If you hear of expansion happening in Zambezi, expansion that is happening in the north, centers, the Nagayane, Enana, it's part of this plan. They are available. Please access these documents. Training of trainer strategy, stakeholder engagement strategy. You see these meetings advertised ever in the newspapers. Please, you are a stakeholder. If they happen in your locality, attend and make your contribution. Advocacy strategy, framework for government, for governance of vocational training centers, e-learning strategy, and this is underway. Lot of programs, the e-module has been put across. In terms of policy framework, they are available also. These are standards and standards, assessment and certification council, regulation relating to registration of training providers. Again, these are policies that are available. Some of you who have ambition to open your training centers, get access to these documents. They are available. I'm using a small screen, so what is happening here? You see, as you go, your eyes also go. Now I can't see on the small screen. I'm almost there, don't worry. I will cut the time that I'm on top here. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. Okay. I cannot believe that I can be seated. What is it? I have the slides, but it's not opening. Okay, thank you, Armani, for the rescue. Hey, technology, you see when you grow up, you start getting beaten by things, small things. Okay. All right. How is Namibia responding to the current need when it comes to mining, construction, energy, gas? How are we responding as a country? And you know how you measure whether your economy is stagnant, is moving, or is reversing. You walk around and you see construction, economical activities happening. If you see those happening, if you walk around and you see buildings are being built, completed, officially open, you see this. If you start seeing that, you must know that your economy is moving. You must know that. And I think as a country, we are there. We are there. We are seeing some countries where they are constructing and then demolishing again. All right. In terms of that, occupation that are high demand, we have the solar equipment maintenance and installers. We have riggers, mining, oil and gas, drilling technicians, and also we have the architectural masonry, oil and the gas transferable. And what we are looking at in terms of trainings, by 2025, for the solar equipment we are looking at as a country, 200. Which institutions are able to take this and ensure that by 2025, we meet the 200 target as a country? If we look at the riggers, mining oil and gas, we are looking at about 50. Which of our local institutions is able to do this? I think with this we must take the basic challenge, not just to run out to South Africa or to other countries to look for this. Let's have them here. Why can't we have them? Okay? Thank you very much. In terms of sector or industry that we are looking at, energy sector, this is the oil and the gas, or green hydrogen. We are looking at mechanical and control engineering. Okay, we are looking at exploration and production, mechanical and inspection, health, safety, and environment. And as an entity, NTA had commissioned a study in partnership with reputable international oil and gas training centers. So NTA is looking at this and is working on that. In terms of forestry, discussions are still underway with the Industry Skills Council, and NTA will pronounce itself in terms of how they will go about that. Finance and business, again, insurance, intermediary, this is level 4, and the real estate agent, these have been developed, and they've been there since 2018. So please look at this documentation that is there. Okay, we are looking at the maritime sector and stroke or aviation. At this stage, NAMFI is expanding its scope for training within vocational areas. And at the same time, we have UNA and NAST that are on board in terms of training courses from bachelor's level upward. In the mining, touring, and quarrying, discussions are still underway with the Skills Industry Committee, and once that is on, it's done, NTA is going to pronounce itself on that. In terms of the industries and television sector, there is needs analysis done with the sector, and discussion between the NTA and South African film producer is ongoing. What are the critical issues? Reason why I'm standing here. Number one, development of TVET admission requirement, stroke TVET curriculum framework. Okay, with this, with clear learning pathways and articulation from basic to TVET to higher education. I think this is what Amon was trying to say here. Some of us who have already been disadvantaged, I think we have a way to cry about this. Because we have lost money, we have lost our time. So when there is a clear pathway that a person who enters the system from this point have a clear pathway in terms of how it goes, not reaching a ceiling before he gets to a diploma. It should not be like that. Inclusive, all forms of learning. This is formal, informal, and non-formal. This must be inclusive if we can do our admission framework well. Alignment to the NQF and the SADC to ensure mobility of our graduates. If my mother is an ambassador in Namibia, in Zambia, and I work there, I train there as a motor mechanic up to level 2. And then she's transferred, political change in Namibia, and she's transferred to Botswana. Why can't I continue with level 3 in Botswana? Why do I have to remain behind to finish the Zambia system before I can continue with the Botswana system? If she's recalled, why can't I do level 4 in Namibia? I think this is the problem. We need to look at this. We do have protocol on education. So let's make it work. Review the existing packages of qualification by disintegrating the core skills from critical skills. In construction of an industry sector, identify and adapt the appropriate 21st century skills from the ILO list of 21st industry skills. Package the core values according to promotional and non-promotional and having them learned and appropriate at time. We have these traditional programs that we don't want to change. And we train year after year after year. Technology is not like that. Technology is dynamic, it's not fixed. And also are the needs of the country. They are not fixed. Now we have this mountain of oil production and we are still stuck in the programs that we must be evolved. We must be evolved. And as we evolve, let's get our people involved in that. Enhancement of industrial attachment and experiment on that. This we need to engage stakeholders to establish appropriate mechanism for industry attachment. This is for trainers and also for trainees. Production hubs to supplement industry attachment, provision as well as realization of Vision 2030. You as institutions can have small production units where those trainees that you can't attach to industry, you attach them to your production unit. And in a way, they benefit from that. Inculcate the concept of innovation and creativity within training facilities. Okay? This will ensure creativity of entrepreneurs, and this should come even in terms of competition, in terms of funding, that the best business proposal that would come from a level 3 trainee will get this amount. We need to start funding this, start thinking in that line. What have we achieved? Full implementation of the skills development plan for TVET sector. This is an ongoing project where funding to the sector is appropriated in line with such priorities. Development of e-learning strategy and the TVET information system to ensure facilitation of training and assessment of via online programs such as module and others. Rollout of e-learning platform has already begun and it's ongoing. Continuous professional development of TVET practitioner through NAST, faculty of TVET, and other avenues. This program is ongoing. implementation of CBET as a sole national TVET system in the country. This shall be done through consultation with the training providers to establish their readiness and draw up their implementation plan through a phase-in, phase-out approach. This process, in terms of consultation, is ongoing. And with this, I thank you very much.